Just popping, everybody. Hope y'all are good. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Well, not really. I just did I just did all of the July readings, so I guess technically it's not been a minute. But since we've done a collective love reading, it's been a minute. Let's see. Only things that are new is that I'm now offering personal readings. So I do have the description, or excuse me, I have the email in the description. Just send me an email. We can book something for you. And then also just the stuff on Instagram. By the way, thank you to everybody that did enter the giveaway. I did a little giveaway for free readings, like little picture readings. I'm going to take pictures of the cards and send them out. So I appreciate everybody that entered that. I did it on Instagram on my story. And yeah, so I think I did it for like 100 followers or something, and I was like, oh cool, might as well just do it just because, to give thanks. And yeah, so thank you to everybody that did. And by the time you see this, you will likely already have your readings, I hope. I'm going to be doing them today, and today is like my day off to do all the things and the stuff. So yeah, man, I hope you guys are good. We are going to be tapping in and just seeing what's good. It's been probably about a little over a week since we tapped in. The stuff coming through on the daily today had to do with like a new connection. I feel like a lot of you, well, we did tap into this a little bit during the July readings. I think a lot of you are tapping into new connections and meeting new people. This can be, I mean, this is a love reading, so like, you know, new romantic interests. So I have a feeling we're probably going to be tapping into that today. If you don't really feel like that's something that resonates with you, there's like, I have all the July readings for the different signs, and they're not really, I almost said gender specific. Well, I guess they're not gender specific, but they're not really sign specific anyways. They're timeless. So yeah, man, if any of the titles like resonate, you can watch them. And I have them all on a playlist too, so you can find them pretty easily on my page. But man, that said, we're just going to take a deep breath, say a prayer, and hop into your reading. Pray to God, Spirit, my guides, my angels, my ancestors, to help myself, the collective, and anybody watching to see the clearest messages for the highest good of all involved in our love and relationships for a timeless love reading. I took a deep breath, but it turned into a yawn. I'm a little tired today, but feeling pretty good, man. Feeling pretty good. So let's see what's going to come up today, man. We're going to be using, I should probably mention, because somebody asked in some of the other readings, I'm going to be using the Golden Dawn Tarot. And we're going to close it out with the magical spell cards. Yeah. So let's see what comes up. Let's see what comes up. Probably going to be an extension of the daily, because that's usually what happens when I do these. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so yep, I mean, it's already an extension, because this was the bottom of the deck card that we got. So the bottom of the deck, starting out for the reading, we have the Six of Pentacles. The other cards that came out were the Wheel of Fortune and Temperance. Okay, this is like exactly what came out for the daily. It's just coming out in a different way. This is coming out in a major arcana way, opposed to the minor arcana way that we saw on the daily. So if we're tapping into these energies here, I feel like this does have a lot to do with your person. This has to do with somebody who, one, Temperance to me can be hot and cold, right? One foot in, one foot out. I mean, there's a lot of passion there. Do they want this? There is clearly a divinely guided connection here. That's what I'm seeing with the Wheel of Fortune. This is something where I feel like both of you are having a lot of karmic triggers come up for you because this connection, I mean, if you know, coming into like any kind of soulmate, divine connection at all, regardless of whether you want to label it twin flames or not, I mean, you're going to be meeting people all throughout your life, right? And you're going to be meeting so many people to where, not like you're meeting so many people, but I mean, you do meet enough people to where you have enough intensity between you, specifically if it is somebody new. And so this just feels like a new connection that you're kind of stepping into right now. It feels like somebody new that is either going to be coming into your life or has already come into your life. You may not even really be talking that much. You may not really know them that much. You may have literally just connected to them, is what I'm hearing. And that's kind of what I'm seeing here, is like this is something that has been fated, right? It's this situation where I feel like you may have seen them here and there. You may have seen each other around, and you know, this person may have decided to say something. Maybe they actually decided to step into the Six of Pentacles energy. Maybe this is something where they were very hot and cold in the past, right? They were just like, maybe they were going through their own stuff. They were going through a lot of karmic stuff right here with the Wheel of Fortune. And now they've kind of come out of that a little bit. And so they're deciding, hey, like maybe I'm going to try to take this into another level. However, the hot and cold energy is still there for me, is what I'm seeing. Yeah, we have the Nine of Wands. And so it's just like, it's somebody who has been kind of holding a torch for the connection. Somebody who, even though you may not know them very well, or you may not have been talking to them for very long, it's this energy of them essentially wanting something with you for, I don't want to say like a very long time. It could be like this could be like literally like 9 weeks, 9 days. It could be something very recent, very recent in the sense of like the decision was made recently to want to invest in this connection to some degree. Okay. Yeah. Strength. I feel like this is something where I feel like you're both recognizing that this is a strong connection that you share. It's not something you can really deny. And the reason I say so is because as you meet more people, as you go through life, you'll start to notice how not every connection is the same. Obviously, it's like I'm speaking the obvious facts. But what I mean by that is you'll eventually come across people where you're going to feel stuff like this. It's very strong. It's very passionate, intense, and it's not something that you have to force. It's something that you will just feel naturally. But it's only something that you're going to learn over time. And I kind of feel like that's why we're having these cards here. Because this connection, while it may not have seemed like much at first, it may have just seemed like it's something in the passing in the wheel of fate, but it's turning out to be something a little bit more than you thought. And I think that's what both of you are realizing right now. And I feel like this is kind of like a mutual energy here with the Nine of Wands and the Six of Pentacles. It's this energy of like, okay, well, yeah, this is actually a lot more passionate than I thought it was. I do see this as a cycle I would like to invest in with the Six of Pentacles. Normally I would see the Nine of Wands as like, oh, there's a lot of people involved, and not like third-party stuff, but there's like a lot of opinions, and there's a lot of this and a lot of that, just a lot of like gossip about you two. And I feel like that actually can be the case here. I feel like because we do have like wand energy here, this can be something that occurred in a work situation. This could be somebody where you met them at their job. Maybe you were working and you met them. It could be something where it was where you've seen each other in passing, over a frequent amount of time, and it just so happens that you just decided to align with each other, and that's kind of why I feel like we're getting this here. Okay, the next card out is the Eight of Cups. And so I feel like in order for this connection to come together, there's going to be the need for both of you to walk away from things that are keeping you in a state of emotional confusion. I normally would see the Eight of Cups as kind of walking away from things that aren't emotionally fulfilling, and in this situation, I feel like that's kind of what I'm seeing here. It's the decision to move away from that already. It's like the decision has already been made to move away from emotionally unfulfilling situations, and I kind of feel like that's why you two are coming into alignment. It's something where you both really weren't in alignment for however amount of time, and it just so happens that you both align with each other because you are looking for the same thing. And usually the universe will orchestrate things like that when one or both people are looking for, no, I would say not just one, but when both people are praying or manifesting the same thing. Usually this energy will come out when those past situations have been kind of let go of, even internally. Doesn't necessarily mean they're all closed out in the physical. That's kind of why I see we do have this here, the Wheel of Fortune and the Temperance, and I feel like that's because there are still things closing out in both of your lives. That can be in your person's life or your life, but it's just something where I feel like there are some things closing out. This can be old fears, old connections, old ways of thinking, old ways of loving, all kinds of old karmic things that are coming out. Yeah. So I feel like there's just been a lot of indecision in this connection. The Two of Swords reverse. I feel like that's kind of why you're seeing the stagnancy with this Two of Swords, right? Two of Swords reverse, to me, it can represent a couple of things. It can represent somebody who has made a decision, somebody who is not making a decision, or somebody who is kind of in a stagnant space regarding mutual energy. So I guess that's more than a couple things. That's a few things. That's three things. But I feel like that's kind of the energy coming through. It's like it's like you both came together, right? There was this kind of meeting of the minds. There was this mutual decision, and maybe it wasn't really spoken aloud. I feel like this is more of an internal decision that was made with the 9 here. It could be of the mind. Internally, I think you both have accepted that this connection is something different than most connections you come across. And I feel like that's why there is a little bit of stagnancy, because you're like, wow, well, this was unexpected. I was kind of like, I think you both were in this energy of like, well, I wanted this person, but those things didn't work out, and it just so happens somebody new came along, and now you're kind of like in this space of like, well, if I go through with this, what about if this person comes back, or what about if this person comes back? Or I feel like that's kind of the energy right now. You're both in the space of not really fully moving forward or investing because there's still a little bit of apprehension about the past. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like a slow-moving energy with the Princess of Pentacles. It's something substantial. It's something that has the ability to move into a more long-term committed space. However, I just feel like it's moving very slow. And I don't necessarily, that's kind of what I'm seeing here now. Is like, yeah, it just seems like it's stagnant, but maybe it's not so much stagnant, it's moving slowly. And I think that's kind of what you're both not used to. I think one of the messages coming through in the daily was there's a desire to not move forward in such an impulsive way. And I feel like it's because, oh, I thought that was like a squirrel. It was a leaf blowing across the street. Anyways, but I feel like that's kind of why things are moving slowly, because this person wants you to take them seriously, and this is just an extension of the daily at this point. The same message is coming through. I feel like this person really wants you to take them seriously. They don't want you to think that they're just somebody who's going to be in and out of your life, because it doesn't really feel like the kind of person they are. It feels like somebody who takes themselves very seriously, somebody who's very confident. And it feels like this is the person. I feel like they made a move, they made a gesture, they did something that gave you the nudge, like, hey, I'm interested in you. Even if it's on a friendly level at first, it doesn't have to be super romantic. It could be something where the person's like, they just, maybe they just introduce themselves. Maybe they start talking to you a little bit more than usual. Maybe they start, being a little bit flirtatious and start acting a little funny because they're nervous or something. You know what I mean? It's that kind of energy. This is very new, playful energy here. It doesn't really feel like something that's going in a terrible direction, even though your mind is telling you, okay, this isn't that, but maybe it is this, but you're just not seeing it because you're maybe a little bit clouded by the karmic stuff that you have been through. And so maybe you're feeling a little bit hot and cold because you're afraid of repeating the karma from the past. But it feels like you already healed from that. You've let that go, and that's something we've talked about a lot on this channel. We've worked through a lot together. We've come to this place where we are able to see things for what they are. We're able to stay in alignment with ourselves. We know what it is we want, and we are not afraid of going to get it. And so I kind of feel like that's the energy coming through with you guys right now. But again, there's just this lack of movement. It's like, it's interesting. It's like there's the desire to move forward, and that's what I'm seeing here, but then they're just not doing anything. And I'm like, well, so what does that mean for you, right? What should you do in this situation when you're interested in somebody and they're interested in you, and there was a little bit of movement and then the movement just kind of stopped, right? I feel like that has a lot to do with finances right now. Again, I feel like a lot of people are focused on their finances, and that is something that was coming through in pretty much all of the monthly readings for July, even though they are timeless. And this was a big energy coming through for all of us. It's like, okay, can I contribute to this connection in a way that's going to allow me to continue to work on my life and build my finances? It's like that's the issue here. This person does not want to take away from the hard work they have put in, and they also just want to make sure that they have the time for themselves outside of their financial obligations. And so what I'm feeling like, the stagnancy isn't so much stagnancy, it's more so this person just really is trying to get their life together. And there's a need to kind of trust in that process, and a lot of the times people will mirror you in that way, specifically in divine connections, counterparts or not. A lot of the times how people move is a reflection of how you should move in some ways. And I don't mean that in a toxic way. We don't really tap into toxic connections over here. We tap into divinely guided connections over here. And that's usually what comes through in our readings, because, well, we know what we want, right? Like we've been working on this together for a while now. And so I feel like we're kind of at this precipice of moving into this committed energy, the slow moving energy, but there is also still the need to maintain your own balance, guys. Right? It's the tower. It's like, I feel like that's the tower moment, but I feel like there is a tower moment coming in. I feel like because this connection is so new, is so fresh, that itself was the tower. However, I do feel like I want to pull some cards on this tower. Well, let's see what's under the tower, and then I want to pull some cards on it. Okay, Seven of Pentacles. Okay, it just feels like, well, we're gonna do a little shuffle. I want to pull some cards on this tower here, but if we're gonna be clarifying the tower with this card, I would say that this has to do with the desire to want to move forward and build in this connection, to want to invest, and I feel like that is the tower. It's the realization that, okay, like, I actually like this person, I actually would very much like to invest in this new opportunity here. However, what can I do to do so in a way that's going to allow me to maintain my own stability, right? I mean, I'm just going to do it. We're going to the 7 to the 8, right? So it's like it's movement. It's moving forward. It's slow. It's growth. It's harvesting. It's again, moving forward with this person towards a more committed space. And I feel like that's the Tower moment that's going to be coming in for you, because you don't see it right now. You're kind of like wondering, okay, this doesn't look like it's moving anywhere. Maybe I should just let it go, focus on myself. And yes, you should let it go and focus on yourself, but also hold space in your heart for somebody that you want to hold space for, specifically if they haven't actually done anything wrong. And I know, right and wrong is subjective, but only you'll know if somebody's in alignment with you. And it's kind of this energy of like just kind of trusting in that process and like letting yourself flow, just flow with it. Don't even try to force it. Like, it's, if something happens naturally, chances are it's going to flow naturally afterwards. It's not something where, you're going to have to force it. Like, if this person truly is interested, which it looks like they are, there's going to be movement coming forward here. Okay? Yeah. I just feel like they're not trusting, I wouldn't say they're not trusting their intuition. I feel like it's both. I feel like there's a need to trust your intuition right now. I feel like there's a lot being hidden from you for a reason, but it's not necessarily a malicious reason. I feel like, I don't know, man, there's just this lack of really communicating what it is you are each going through. I would say more so what they're going through. I feel like they're just holding back, and it's because they're not really, maybe they just don't trust their intuition. Maybe they're being clouded right now. I'm also picking up on this energy. The Queen of Pentacles reverse could just be people around them that are just, giving them bad advice, right? Like, we tapped into this this energy on the daily, where it could have been like coworkers. It could have been, it feels like something that's somewhat public. I feel like you met this person in a public space at their job, at your job, and I feel like there are people around them that may be gossiping a little bit, and this can represent those people, right? This, Pentacles can have to do with work, can have to do with the material aspects of life. And I feel like, having a Queen of Pentacles in the reverse, given that your person seems to be showing up here as the Princess of Pentacles in reverse, it could just be somebody around them who is just speaking into their mind, into your ear, just speaking to them in a way that isn't necessarily giving them the best advice. And it's keeping them in this space of like not being sure about the connection, because they have somebody around them that is basically just not having it. I guess maybe they're jealous, I don't know. But the next card now, guys, we do have the Chariot. So you can expect some forward movement. Again, I feel like this phase is really only a phase. The stagnancy that you may be seeing isn't really going to last very long, because, again, if it's coworkers speaking in this person's ear, chances are it's really not going to hold weight, because oftentimes your coworkers are just your coworkers, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't really feel like a lot of people are really super close with their coworkers, from what I understand. My job doesn't really involve me to be around too many coworkers at the time, but when I did have a lot of coworkers, it wasn't something where I saw everybody was super about it. You're cool, it's like the cool coworkers, but outside of work is usually separated. So that kind of feels like the thing here. It could be family members that are saying things as well. It doesn't really feel like it. It feels more so just people around them that they're not even really close to begin with. And I feel like that's why we're seeing the Chariot here. I feel like not only is your person focusing on their finances, they're trying to just not listen to the people around them. They're trying to find balance within themselves, and they're really deciding to move forward with this. But I think it's just going to take a little bit of time and patience, okay? Next card out, we have the Hangman Reverse, and I think there's just the need to, I don't know, man, just learn the lessons that you've learned and integrate those, and really not forgetting what it is you've learned. I feel like right now is a good time to step back. Not only to give this person space to come forward to you, but to allow yourself to gain the wisdom of the situation itself. What is it that's being triggered for you right now? And what can you do to bring yourself into balance, so that way you do not have to remain in this Hangman energy, right? So take the reverse Hangman as a nudge from the universe, okay, take a little bit of a step back, focus on your triggers, focus on your own life for the meantime, and let this person come forward to you. Because keep in mind, a lot of the times when you do manifest divine connections that are in alignment with what you want, there will be situations that will try to pull you out of alignment. And that's not to say that there's malicious intent, but a lot of the times people's fears and people's desires get in the way of connections if they are public in some way, especially if it being public is out of your control. Like in the situation we're picking up on, where it could be somebody at work that you met at their job or whatever. It's just natural that their coworkers are going to be talking. There could have been other interests. Maybe there was, you know what I mean? It just feels a little bit messy. Maybe there were other people that were interested in you, interested in them, going every which way. I mean, you know how things go in those kinds of situations, and I feel like that's why there is a need to take a step back and kind of trust that the universe is going to bring it together for you, right? And that's why there is a lack of clarity right now, because the need to step back is going to bring the clarity. I'm not sure what else to say about that. It's just confirmation that there is a lack of clarity, but it's not what you think it is, right? And I just say so, man, because we had the Chariot. It's like there's the forward movement here. There's the desire to move forward. There's desire to build something with the 7 and the 8 of Pentacles. But again, I just feel like either you or your person's not seeing that clearly because of whoever it is around them that's just talking about the connection, or them, or trying to place fears in their mind, or doubts, or whatever it is that these people do, right? Let's forget about those people though, okay? Right? So we do have counterparts, guys. We're not going to focus too much on the external influences. We have the counterparts here. We do have the Prince and Princess of Pentacles. Okay, so this is something that can very well be a counterpart situation. This can be soulmates, twin flames, however you want to look at it. I mean, I do see the Temperance as like a twin flame card as well. We got 2 cups being poured into one. But yeah, man, it just feels like there is something beautiful coming to fruition here. It's just, I think you both are deciding to take it slow, because you both don't want to repeat the past. And I feel like that's something that's coming up for a lot of people these days, especially in the readings I do. There's a desire to do things differently now, because I think both of you, I mean, if you've been somebody who has recognized red flags in others, then you have likely had those red flags within yourself at some point. A good example is moving too quickly in a connection with somebody without taking the time to actually get to know them, committing too quickly, really just moving too fast in general. I feel like that's kind of what's being worked through right now. And I think that's why we have this here with the Chariot and the Ace of Swords reverse. It's like wanting to move forward, but not doing so in a way that's going to be a reflection of the old karmic cycles that you're both clearing. And that's because you both take each other very seriously. I feel like there's a sense of devotion to this connection. Even though it is so fresh and so new, it does feel like there is a sense of just, how do you say, I mean, I literally just said devotion, but it's like faith in the other person, faith in that the connection that you do share is special and has the potential to be long-term, okay? We're going to pull some cards, though. I just want to do a little bit of shuffle before we close it out. I just want to get some advice. What does collective need to know here about this connection? Like anything that's, like what, I don't know, like just anything in spirit. Like we got a little bit of couple cards here, so what do we got? Like, okay, we have Judgment. We're going to do a little bit of story time. We haven't done story time in a while. We got a few cards here. So, starting out with Judgment, okay? I feel like, to me, when I see Judgment, that's like a decision being made. It's like a judgment call, right? It's like making a decision. I feel like a decision has been made to move forward with this connection. Since the Judgment is in the upright, I just feel like there are people around you that are judging the connection. I think your person is afraid of being judged. They're afraid of what their coworkers will say. They're afraid of what their friends and their family will say. It could be something where it's like, this is maybe just a little bit different than what they're used to doing. This is a little bit newer for them. Maybe you're not the type of person that they normally date, and because of that, people around them may question this, question that. We're gonna go further in the story time though, because we do have the 5 of Cups, and I feel like they just don't want to disappoint the people around them, but more than anything, they don't want to disappoint themselves. And so it's this energy of they're like, I want to make sure I'm making the right decision here to invest in this, which is also why they're moving slowly. Do I want to invest in this? And if I make the decision to invest in this, is it going to end up in the same, oh, you see that peeking out? Is it going to end up in the same disappointed energy? I know what this card is. I don't know if you guys know what this card is, but it's in reverse though. That's all good. We have the, what is this, 7 of Cups. I just feel like there's confusion, man, and I feel like, we're going to pull it out, 2 of Cups reverse, right? I feel like because there's a lot of heartbreak, man. I feel like this person has made decisions to move forward in relationships before that led to disappointments, that led to confusion, that led to disunion and heartbreaks. And it's just like, that's why there's apprehensiveness, and that's why there's a lack of movement that you're seeing right now. This person is just afraid, and I feel like this goes both ways. I feel like you both do not want to repeat the past. And again, that's why it's so important to take it slow in the way that you both are, and to understand that that's okay. Like, you don't have to move at the pace of anybody else's relationship. You move at a pace that is comfortable for you, but also understand that your person should be able to move at a pace that is comfortable for them as well. However, you do know what it is you want to experience, and you do know what it is well, I guess you would know what is and is not in alignment with you. So it's up to you to use your discernment as to whether you want to move forward with a connection with this. Do you want to continue to put up with hot and cold energy? And if you do get to a space where you're going to be moving forward with this person, I think it would be very important for you to have a discussion about your past, what you're afraid of, and what you do want for your future, this, that, and the third, just to make sure you guys are on the same page. And I feel like that's something that's going to be coming through. I feel like that Ace of Swords reverse energy is coming to a close, and I feel like that's why the Chariot came out after that, because you're going to be moving forward away from the lack of clarity. You're going to be moving towards clarity, right? Alright, Spirit's saying one more pull. However, I'll talk about this real quick. Eight of Swords reversed at the bottom of the deck. Freeing yourself from any limiting beliefs, freeing yourself from the doubts, trusting in your, again, we talked about this all the time, trusting in yourself, trusting in your person, trusting in the universe and your manifestations, okay? We're going to get some more pulls here, though. I just want to get, I'm just feeling like, what does this person want you to know? It's kind of what I want to pull on. What does this person want you to know? What are they not telling you? If they're not communicating or whatever it is that's going on, what is it they want you to know? I can't speak. What is it, Spirit, that this person wants to say? Okay. Bottom of the deck, we have Nine of Cups. Okay, so this is clearly something that they're very happy and excited about with the Eight of Wands. I feel like they do want to speak to you. That's more so like, okay, like, what did they want to say? Where did they want to say? Well, what they want to say is that they want to come forward and they want to say, like, yo, this is actually something I've been, wanting for a while now with the Nine. It's like a cyclical kind of energy, something they've been in their head about, as we saw. But it's something that clearly, it's just a very passionate, communicative, emotionally fulfilling connection that they're seeing here with you. Even though it's still fresh and still new, I would just say be wary of, like, any emotional codependency here. It's one of those energies where, like, given it is so new, this is like infatuation, and not getting too caught up in the infatuation. It's just something where it's kind of needing to focus on yourself without losing the balance of the connection. I'm having a hard time articulating this. I want to pull a couple more cards here. Yeah. Princess of Swords was under the Nine of Cups. I just feel like there is going to be a little bit of communication, but I feel like this person is gathering information before they come forward. Right? It's like there's the desire for them to come forward, and I feel like that's kind of what they're telling you here, that, like, hey, like, I actually really do want to come forward. I want to build this with you. I see love here. I see emotional fulfillment here. They may be focused on their own emotional independence right now, but it does look like they do want this with you. But again, I feel like they're just holding back. They're not really coming forward, communicating just yet. And if this communication does come forward, when it does come forward, it's going to be new. It's going to be something where maybe you're not used to this type of communication with somebody. Maybe you're used to being in situations where the communication was like this, and it was like there was no communication. Well, it sounds like this person is going to want that with you. I want to pull some more cards on that. Sorry, this energy is just like it's like a really hectic energy. I'm having trouble, like, sometimes I have trouble communicating the energies I pick up on in these readings, because they're just so, not only are they intense, but it's just like there's a lot. It's just a lot going on. That's because there's like so many other people that seem to be involved in this person's life in a different kind of way. I feel like they want to reveal a lot of what has been hidden, right? I feel like they've been keeping a lot to themselves. They've been keeping this to themselves, the fact that they want to move forward with you. However, the Prince of Wands can be an inconsistent energy, and I feel like that's why they seem inconsistent, because they're just keeping a lot to themselves right now. And I don't know, man, I feel like you just gotta kind of trust in the process, man. Trust in this relationship, and if this is something that is meant to be, trust that all will be revealed in due time. I do feel like they are going to come forward, and they are going to speak on what's been going on with them. They are going to let you know, even if it's still new, that, hey, like, this is something I would like to invest in. And it doesn't always have to be through words. It can be through actions. It can be through these little things here and there, right? I mean, think about how the connection came to be in the first place. It's likely going to be a reflection of that. These cards here are telling me of really learning to understand each other's love language. And again, this just feels like working energy. This is like career energy. I feel like this is somebody, again, that you may have met at their job. I know I keep saying that, but it just keeps coming through for the reading. It just seems like a very specific message for somebody that's been going through something like this. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they're just not showing me. It's like they don't want to tell me. Like, even if I want to tap into what it is your person wants to say to you, this moon card here is just, it's like a lot is being kept. Not only from you, but from me in the reading. That's sometimes how these things go. I feel like I don't like to pry into people. And so if I don't tap into something naturally, I don't look too much into it, right? Because I feel like I like to respect people's energetic space. It's not something where I'm like, oh, what are they saying? What are they not saying? And even if I do go that way, if I'm not getting clear messages on it, I don't pry, okay? So again, I think there's a need to respect this person's boundaries, respect this person's space, and just trust in the process, man. Okay, we're going to close it out with the magical spell cards. So, I just caught my cord. So, bottom of the deck we have romance, okay? It says, romance, it is a sacred power, let it come to me this hour. So again, man, I feel like this is a very romantic connection that you do share with this person. They may not be showing everything right now, and I think it's because, again, they're afraid. They don't want to repeat the past. They're afraid of what people will think. Pretty much like all the things that come up in new connections. If you notice that when you do continue to get involved with different people over time, a lot of the same issues will come up, especially if there's somebody that has a similar background to you, somebody that you have similar romantic experiences with. Maybe you have similar relationships you've been through, and I feel like that's why a lot of this is coming up. Other card out, you have joy. It says, as I do will, so mote it be, let joy and light radiate from me. It's a joyful connection. It is a playful connection. It is a fun, romantic connection, but I think the main message here is to focus on that, not to be too serious. I mean, yes, take things seriously and, be consistent and do the things and communicate. However, don't forget about the joy and the romance. I feel like that's kind of how this connection came to be in the first place, and so focusing on that is what is going to allow this connection to flourish. Yeah, imagination. It says, imagination now sets me free, divine ones, I send my thanks to thee. So just like, yeah, man, it's this energy of like really truly imagining what it is you want to experience. It's one of those things of like really focusing on the manifestation process and not letting yourself get too lost in what you're not seeing. Because your final card out, we have like 1 minute left before the video cuts off. It says prosperity, okay? Card 3. As this tree grows so strong, so fine, so may I prosper from the universal divine. So closing message for you, it's a beautiful romantic connection you have here with this person. This is something that is coming together for you. It is a joyful connection, but you just need to have a little bit of patience. Imagine what it is you want to experience. Feel those emotions before you feel them in the physical, and really just focus on those happy moments that you have shared, and trust that more prosperity will come into this connection if it has not already. However, just trust in the final card that I'm going to use for you, divine guidance, right? Follow your divine guidance, man. Whispers from the beings who shine, let their message be clear and kind. Do not let your fears get the best of you. Focus on the divine guidance that you are getting, and ensure that you're just approaching this from a joyful and romantic space if you do want to go in that direction. But regardless, congratulations, guys. And yeah, I will see you in your next reading. If you want to book a reading, email is in the description, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, guys.